course of 2012. I believe it was Mr. Frelinghuysen who earlier today said that the hurricane demanded the attention of news programs around the country, that every time you turned on the TV station, you saw news of the hurricanes and what was happening in Florida, or excuse me, what was happening in New York, what was happening in New Jersey, what was happening in Connecticut. But if you go back to June of last year, all that was on TV was what was happening in Colorado, in New Mexico, in Oregon, in Wyoming, in Montana, as hundreds of thousands of our federal lands burned because of drought conditions and resulted in the loss of hundreds of homes in Colorado, the loss of lives, the loss of hundreds of millions of dollars in Colorado and beyond. In fact, at the same time that we watched as people in New York were seeing their neighbors' homes burned down or ravaged by floodwaters, I recall the story of a group of firefighters in Colorado who were saving a local school, a single-room schoolhouse, while they watched their homes burn down on the same mountain. And so this amendment asks for $125 million for the Emergency Watershed Protection Program. In the Rogers Amendment, there is funding for New York, New Jersey, Connecticut through the Emergency Watershed Protection Program. In the Frelinghuysen Amendment, it's restricted to those three states. At $150 million, this is asking for $125 million for states available like Colorado. As Mr. Polis mentioned earlier today, Colorado is estimated to need or require about $19.8 million for mitigation of these burned areas. And this is a little bit about good government as well, because we know as a result of forest fires, it creates a condition called hydrophobic soil. Hydrophobic soil is basically the melting of a top layer of soil so that any moisture event, whether it's a half inch of rain, an inch of rain, is going to create debris flows, erosion flows, and mudslides that will clog culverts, destroy roads, and certainly imperil the watershed and drinking water systems. For those of you who recall the disasters at the Waldo Canyon fire, the United States Air Force Academy was evacuated. 70% of the people in Colorado Springs will be affected by the drinking water as a result of the Waldo Canyon fire. In the High Park fire, over 300,000 people will be impacted as a result of damage to the watershed, which occurred on federal lands, much of it. And so this amendment tries to bring some aspects of good government to erosion control, because once those debris flows occur, and we're talking about a debris flow that will be the equivalent of a 100-year storm, the equivalent runoff and debris flow of a 100-year storm will now be occurring every 5 to 10 years because of the burn and the hydrophobic soil conditions. FEMA will most likely cover costs, or at least part of costs, for mudslides and debris flows. So they will occur after the fact. They will provide grants and money to mitigate after the fact, to help the drinking water system after the damage has occurred. But this is actually trying to provide help before the damage occurs. And so I would ask for your support, because our hearts go out to the people of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, everybody who has suffered devastating damage as a result of the hurricanes, but would also encourage your support for other areas of this country who watched as their neighbors' homes burned down, lives were lost, and millions upon millions of dollars were done in damage as a result of a natural disaster.